I spoke with the guys, and so essentially there's two missed payments. I think the total is like 2,300. So when we talked before, the 7,000 was if everything was up to date and caught up. So even if it was put to the back, because didn't you do that last time before? Put it on the back. I'd never said that it was going to be okay. I didn't say that.
Mentioned that I told them that it was okay and that the payment was still going to be the same at that particular time, So we were going through the same scenario that we were different. The rules is different.
We didn't do it last time.
No, we didn't. But I'm saying as we went to pay the payments were behind, even because you did work with me on that, and it was never said that, okay, if the payments don't get behind, that we're going to have your check is going to be less than this. But you even worked with me on that.
I did not, because last time or this time? Right. And so did you get it approved then?
I did get it approved then, and so now they're working with me again. Yeah.
And what if they don't approve it this time? No. But you're saying, but it, no, it can't, because then the loan is not in good standing. If the loan's not in good standing, we can't. Nobody is going to want to take that over. You don't want to buy something with late payments on it. It's got to be in good standing, because even if it just sits there, it accrues interest and all those things that if it doesn't get paid, and so every month you're still behind if it just sat there.
Okay, so I will still want again protected. So it's going to take within 15 business days. Within 15 business days, that's going to be after the signing of the loan.
Right. So, but here's the thing, that it's going to get added. So if it just sits there, then it gets added to the amount, correct? So I don't remember what the numbers is. Say it says 110. If they say, yes, we will put it to the back, we will clear the arrears, which I don't know if they approved it last time, I would have a hard time believing that they're going to approve it again, in a short period of time. And so, again, when we talked about it before was a different time. Like I said, the last time when we talked, I said, hey, we need to make sure that we're actually going to do it this time, because we've already spent money on it. So we can't do exactly the same thing. And so that's what I was said before. And so if they go and even if they were to leave the payments and add them to the back, it increases the amount that somebody would be buying it, and it would increase their balance.
I see what you're saying. There's no way that I can get those payments up.
Like right now, you can't catch them up. Is that what you're saying?
No payments up.
Well, and that might be okay, but you just have to realize that when we go to close, it can't be 7K and catch the payments up. It's got to come out of the 7K. Right, but if we did 7,000, right? So when we signed the contract, there was no arrears, right? So let's say it was a month ago or whatever. Your March payment was due, but we were going under the assumption that you were going to pay that, right? Because you've been saying basically March is for February. You've been in the house, and there really hasn't been any issue. So when you sent that mortgage statement, it said there was no arrears because it assumed that you were paying that payment, which is what we were kind of looking at. And I recall asking, like, hey, okay, so we're good. There's no arrears, because I know that was the situation last time. And you had told me that, yeah, we're good. So if it kept going on, let's say for whatever reason, it didn't close for 6 months, we couldn't go back and be like, hey, because it didn't close in 6 months, now you pay all the interest and all the fees and all the extras, right? That wouldn't be fair. So that's why when we got it, we're like, oh, that caught a little bit off guard, you know?
Yeah, except so you're asking me to pay last month payments? That's what you're asking me to pay?
To pay the arrears, yes. And obviously it doesn't have to be, like, if we close it next week, it doesn't have to be right now, right? Because it's going to be kind of pointless. not pointless. You definitely could and get it back next week or whenever. But I'm just saying it's basically going to be the same thing because at close and title to close at a title like they're not just going to let it sit there. Like we wouldn't be able to do it. They wouldn't close the transaction because title has to run a search and they're not able to clear it. That's on them too. They would have that responsibility. So to complete the transaction.
Jesus. So when you say the arrears, it's April. So you're talking about paying a March payment.
Correct. Well, there's two payments, February and March, for February and March, because they bill for the previous 30 days, right? So if you get a day, if you get something that's due April 1st, that was essentially for all of March.
In March, that is due week. You just need one payment, a payment that is due for this, correct?
Yeah, which is it would be two payments, right? Because it was 2,000.
If you happen to the 15th to pay the other payments, start accumulating late fees. So the other one, the other payment did actually sit there.
So that payment is still due though, because like I said, that payment is for the previous 30 days. And Andres, Anthony, like nobody, you're the one that owned it at that time, right? So the responsibility was for you. So like if it closed today or 3 days ago, that all gets prorated. That would be prorated. But it's just because it's due on the 15th, it's still, there's going to be another payment due on the 1st. You know what I mean?
Right, and that payment that's due on the first is coming out for next month. That's you all right. Okay. I don't know about getting through the.
Well, you have to look at it from the flip side too. I mean, like I said before, we've already spent money once on it. We've done it twice now. And when and I said at the beginning when we were doing this, and you had said that there was no arrears. So just because at that point there was no arrears, it doesn't mean we could just stop making payments. And then, what happens in that same scenario if we signed a contract with somebody and they went and put a lien on the property for $30,000 and said, well, we just put it to the back. Like, that doesn't make sense to do it that way. You did a remodel or you did something against the house and you added $30,000 to it. Like, that wouldn't make sense, right? That wouldn't be fair. So it's the same thing. It's not the same dollar amount, but it's effectively the same thing. I am not exactly sure, and I think it will help once we have a net sheet, so you can actually see that. But I think it was something 21 or 2,300, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And I'll ask them for a net sheet and so we can see clear numbers on it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thanks.